Tom Sherman here on the drive. Forgot what number it is, but it's gonna be a deep drive today or this morning here. Tom, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Man, Brian Dunbar passing away. Man, ain't that wild?
Yeah, that's rough news, man, and I hate it for family first, and then the RC family. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
He's been part of the RC community ever since I can remember, back in the '90s. You know, watching him race in Savannah and stuff like that, and Lake Park. And then seeing him again at the Clash last year and watching him run and talk to him a little bit last year and then a little bit this year. Just a good person, good individual. Yeah, it brings a lot of stuff into perspective, man. I can tell you that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, I met him '93 at Cherryville, North Carolina, racing the North Carolina State race in Cherryville.
Yeah, I was probably there.
Yeah, and it was him and Dean Kearns came in. And, I mean, you remember how country that area is, right? Cherryville?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, we raced there several times.
Well, still, 2025 is still country, so... we were there, and like how country it was back then was, my dad drove a Cutlass Supreme. Every time we went on trips or anything like that, he always washed his car and everything, So he never went to an RC race. He don't know about racing. So we go there, and we get into town of Cherryville. He's locking doors, So we turned down this dirt road, and it was like I could feel his blood boiling. But anyway,
got a clean car.
Yeah. So we get up there, and we get parked, and the next thing you know, here comes a nice Cadillac pulling up, and it was Dean Kearns and Brian Dunbar. So we're in the hobby store. The hobby store is a trailer.
Right.
And Dean Kearns and Dunbar walks in, and they're like, do y'all sell any pop? And it was like that old Western movie where the music just stopped, the piano player just stops playing. And the guy behind the counter was like, pop? Pop?
We got a Coke.
Yeah.
We got a Coke. What flavor do you want?
And it was like, but he was my first ever chassis sponsored driver I ever met. He was sponsored by Losi then.
Yeah, it's pretty cool watching those guys.
Yeah.
Back then, travel around and you kind of keep up with them in RC car action and all that back then, and
yeah,
it was pretty cool. And then see them evolve into adults and parents and everything else. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think we kept in touch. Like, I always got people's phone numbers and stuff like that, and always try to keep in touch with people.
Well, you guys had a good conversation. You guys talked for a while. Well, actually, you did a thing on his car last year at the Clash. So
we talked about
always immaculate cars, man.
Oh gosh. Well, you remember how dirty Cherryville was, right? Like dirt road and all that. I remember Brian Dunbar and Dean Kearns at that track and coming in the hobby store, and back then in '93 they looked like models, like runway like models. And I remember Dunbar having Jordans on, man. Like, he had Air Jordans on at the track. Like, it was like, what?
Yeah, Dean hadn't put on 200 pounds
No, no, no. When I say that they both look like models, like it was like,
Oh,
th-
I know.
yeah, those are the guys you wanted to be featuring holding your car on a magazine or something. Not the regular, not the regular, not us, the regular RC racers. Like I said, it's a hole in RC right now. Like that hole can't be filled. Like, uh, and the Hoosier family up there in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot for the new racers there and helping them, and that hole is there now, and they got a lot of good racers there, and unfortunately, a lot of them are probably going to be looking towards talent to kind of fill that hole a little bit, I think.
Yeah, like passing the torch kind of thing.
Well, and then just help and knowledge.
Yeah.
So talent's young and new, but he does have a lot of knowledge. And I sat across from him and his dad at trackside a few weeks ago, and Talon knows what he's doing with the car. He knows what he needs to do, and I think he can pass that knowledge on to some other people. So
yeah,
I don't have too many concerns there, and then I think there's enough racers there at Hoosiers that know what's going on and know how to teach the car setup and stuff and driving. So
right.
they'll be okay. They'll grieve for a while, that's for sure, but they'll move on.
So I like the 1.7's in the front, 1.8's in the rear, and they were the thinner pistons. So a lot of people run thicker pistons. I liked the thinner ones, and I ran 32 and a half weight in the front and 30 weight in the rear. Not really. I do try to break them in on the table, so just kind of let one tire, hook the radio up, turn the car on, hit a little bit of throttle, let one tire kind of spin off the table. The tire spin, then you tighten the diff a little bit and continue to do that until you get the diff somewhat tight. I find that makes the balls will seed a ring or a kind of like it'll seed a line in the ring in the diff ring, and it gives it more surface area for the ball to roll on, so it'd be less apt to bark or to slip. Shoot, I could probably make a diff last probably 2-3 months. Well, some of it's just, I had 4 cars, so it probably looked like I was working a lot more than what I needed to. 2 cars that most guys are running, I don't think I would have been doing that much wrenching. Keeping up the tires, just making sure all the screws were tight in each car. I was tweaking each car here and there. But yeah, I think running 4 cars probably made it look like I was really busy. Typically, I would just be running 2 on a normal race weekend. But I don't think I was doing anything more than I needed to. I mean, there was probably more than, if I had 2 cars, I probably would have been doing more to each car. Maybe I think each day I would have probably preferred to have rebled the shock, because I think they build pressure, and I think when you build pressure in your shocks, it doesn't work as good on the track. Since I had 4 cars, I didn't have time to do that every day. On the car you're looking at there, that was Avid. They're flat. The heads of the screws are kind of flat. I had to dye those gold as well. The other screw kit that I run is Clinic, Klinik. I run those. I run a mixture of J Concepts turnbuckles along with the 1-Up turnbuckle. Long time. Yeah, after I get done polishing each one, which each one needs to go, the length of each one, you know what I mean? Then you gotta kind of clean the polish off each screw, leave any polish residue on there when you try to anodize them. But then you gotta hook up the anodized, gotta hook up what you're doing there to anodize the screw and do each one at a time. And I usually do each end of the screw too. So I'll dump one end in and then turn around, alligator clip it, and put the other end in. Time frame, I don't know. It's a extra day or two with the time that I have to do the car. You know what I mean? And then you're talking about 4 cars, so it can be very time consuming. Just the top, yeah. The bottom, don't pay too much attention to with that, and I'll just usually add chassis tape. I use a J Concepts RM2 diff grease. That's for the outside, and then the inside diff grease, I use just the AE black grease. I took the pin out of the dog bone, and then I had to drill the hole out a little bit more and insert the mod pin with the drives. Were actually TLR out drives that I made work on our car with my diff. The center drive. I wanted that lightweight also. I came up with a combination of AE and TLR parts to make that work in our car. Out there together to California to practice, and then it was kind of weird. It was funny because we were supposed to get on the plane and go to Japan, and he didn't realize he needed a passport. I'm just loyal, I guess. I mean, I put a lot of time into these cars, first off, too. I mean, I really just, I knew they were okay, but I really just had to put a lot of time into them and kind of, I don't know, Mayfield one that kind of laid the foundation down and had the cars, working pretty well when I came on the team. So I had a thing for the car. And ever since I started doing that and went my own direction, I feel like I've gotten them a lot better. So as I see improvement each week, adjusting the car, it just intrigued me to want to go further. I never felt like I hit a wall and was like, no, this is it. This is the best it can be. So I just wanted to keep going with it because, again, I had so much time involved in the car. Coming back is trying to figure things like that out. I think, again, when you're the only guy at the track using a chassis and you get to work, it's pretty rewarding.